Boy, you have a case of the Mondays, eh?
Oh yeah, it's a freaking Monday.
Well, I think if somebody said that at work, we'd punch right in the face.
What, a case of the Mondays? Where's that from?
No,
Is that
I
Office
totally
Space?
misquoted this movie. Office Space. I just took a large bong hit.
I could tell.
It's very hard to do high-level
That is
financial analysis if your THC levels get low. That's a little different. Anyway,
What is the stock ticker for THC?
it's a pharmaceutical company, Tenet Healthcare. But Tenet Healthcare is THC. So unfortunately, none of the legal cannabis companies could get that ticker. It was already taken. But once biotechnology solves all of our disease and aging issues in the next 7 years, we will no longer need Tenet Healthcare. So a cannabis company can take over that.
I knew you would know that.
You know, well, because do you know what? You know, there was a time, and I can't do it anymore. So I could probably do a lot of them. There was a time when I used to like go up to people, and this was before you had apps on your smartphone or da-da-da. I'd be like, ask me what any ticker in the world is, any company, any stock, and I could pretty much get it.
Yeah, but
I
if
was
they didn't
that
have
in it.
smartphones to check, how would they tell you you're wrong?
No, you could go on Yahoo Finance or something like that on your computer. You just didn't have a smartphone to do it on. And I wouldn't do this on the street. It wasn't an Instagram bit. I wasn't filming. Hi, what do you do for a living? Nice car. Okay, I guess you've never seen that Instagram reel. I know you sit there on reels for 30, 40 minutes at a time. I see you. You don't think I see you.
What Instagram reel?
All right, there's a guy. He walks up to people in nice cars, randomly. Miami,
Oh, yeah.
New York, LA. He goes, hey, sir, awesome car. What do you do for a living? Hey, ma'am, beautiful car. What do you do for a living? I would say at least 50 to 60% of the people laugh and either refuse to tell him or basically are like, nothing. Oh, cool.
I saw one of those, and the guy, he just kind of like smiled and looked at him, and he had a guy in the passenger seat, and he's like, yeah, he doesn't speak English, and he was like, he's like, I love the car. I just wanted to know what he did for a living. And the guy looks at him and goes, oh, this is oh shit, what kind of car was it?
Toyota Corolla.
No. Oh, anyways, it ended up like the guy was the founder of the car company, the car he was driving.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say it was like, Tony Maserati. It wasn't Maserati, but like, you know what I mean? The car company was literally named after him.
Is the guy who invented Maserati still alive?
I have no idea.
Oh.
But whoever car company this was,
Is his name Tony?
I have no idea.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know how much of that was fancy.
I just made up a name with a car company because I know it wasn't Maserati, but I can't remember what car company it
Enzo
was.
Ferrari was a person. I
know Enzo Ferrari was a person, but I also knew that I would say that, and it absolutely wasn't Ferrari. So
good. I don't think anyone would have fact checked this, but you know what? I feel like if you say anything about cars, anime, or video games, people who listen may be able to call us out. That's what people like. Anyway.
Who made Maserati? Ernesto Maserati.
Bullshit.
No. Oh, Alfieri Maserati. There
you
we
go.
go.
I'm like, what are you? Another Enzo? Come on.
No, I said Ernesto.
Come on. It's basically Enzo.
Yeah. Now it's gonna drive me crazy because I can't remember what kind of car it was. Doesn't matter. Anyways, GM, what's going on, guys? Happy Monday, December the 5th, first episode of December. Crazy. Almost the end of the year. It's wild times, man.
Yep.
Or is it? Is it really wild? It's pretty quiet.
It is.
What?
It's relatively quiet, though. If you watch macro markets, it's been kind of exciting because bonds and high interest rates have collapsed, and so has the dollar. And this has been at least what, again, what the narrative all year has been is that bonds and the dollar have been driving risk assets down and causing people to reach for liquidity. That has reversed and really has continued to pick up steam. $1.06 on the euro, 135 yen to the dollar, and the 10-year rate at 3.5%. So this was over 4%. This is, all things equal, you would expect everything to be up a lot more than it is, and it isn't yet. We wonder. Stocks have had a decent move. You can't really complain about stocks, though. You're kind of waiting for that next leg here. Like, come on, guys. They're down a little bit this morning at the open. I am very unsure about crypto. Not in a bearish. I'm unsure whether it's gonna rip $150 or fall $150. We have
Right. Yeah, it's hard, man, because like we've seen crypto go sideways during an absolute ripper of a bull market in the stocks, right? Like it doesn't necessarily mean that they go hand in hand as much as we love to hate when it's decoupled on the downside. It's not always coupled on the upside. It's not a given. It's not, we've been there before.
And what I want to reiterate too for people who play stocks is that we have gotten a lot of bullish data over the last few weeks, and the bonds and the dollar index have been what have really reflected that. And again, stocks are up too, but what is much more important for crypto is whether rates are low, in other words, money is cheap, and the dollar is going the other way, because dollar denominated assets and I know Bitcoin is technically not a dollar denominated asset, but the only way people understand its value is related to fiat. Otherwise, how would you know how much it's worth except in relation to ETH or in relation to another crypto? So as far as we talk about Bitcoin on a daily basis, it's $17,000. That's just how we know what Bitcoin is. You relate it to fiat, right? So the dollar is weakening dramatically, very fast. And crypto has basically been stuck in the mud. For obvious reasons. We don't have to beat the drum on it.
Yeah, we still trying to figure out why.
Yeah, I mean, we understand why. But here's what's remarkable to me. If you just, and I know it's because Alameda is gone in a large, though I guess it's just, when you're a tape watcher, when you're somebody who watches charts and tapes, like level 2 data and depth of market stuff, DOM stuff, you just see how much action is there. It is so slow in crypto. Like, sometimes ETH will be at the same price for like a minute. Like, you're like, a minute. Like, do you know how crazy that is for an asset that was moving dollars every millisecond? Like, it's crazy to just barely any action. And that's what you're seeing around crypto. Now, you can attach a million reasons to it, but it's almost pointless to me what the reasons are. Let's just look at the game we are playing right now. It is so low liquidity. There's just nobody out there. All the players are gone for whatever reason you want to ascribe to them. Now, that could be just as beneficial to the bulls as it is to the bears, depending on who blinks first. But who blinks first is the question. And if you want to know how tight in this range and how just insanely jaded crypto traders are to this point, we went into the weekend at like 1280, 1290. People were feeling bullish towards the top of the range. We briefly popped above 300 on Saturday. Then it was quickly sold off. Hung out at 1290. Then later Saturday, collapse. And by collapse, I mean we fell to like, I don't remember, 1240 or 1220, somewhere in that area, depending on the exchange you follow. And boy, did the timeline go max, and not like bearish, we're going like to zero bearish, just bearish like apathy, like, oh my God, we're never breaking out. This is just the price of crypto until we're 80 years old. There's nothing. It was complete apathy. Over. Yeah, it was just complete apathy on the timeline. And now we have floated back to the top of the range. And I wouldn't say people are euphoric, but people are more optimistic. And if we want to look for what is bullish right now, like what can we look at that is bullish? Alts are not just up a lot and basically maintaining those gains, but the charts look healthy. Every time Bitcoin and ETH have pulled back, most of the alts that are showing good relative strength, and shit, you'd be surprised at a lot of them. Litecoin and Avalanche, right? Oh my God, what's happening now? And then
Litecoin up 10% on the day, just under 12% on the week, but yeah, going on a ripper. Axie 22% today.
Wow, big move. And
big move, yeah.
This is, if you want to know, with spot looking so anemic, where can I look to say, oh, I think maybe the way we're going to break is up? Alts are just it's alt season. Like, I'm not saying it in like a bullish, buy the fucking dip, hodl, everyone go back out type of way. It's just obvious right now that alts are outperforming everything. The stock market, spot. If that continues, I think it's bullish for spot. Again, I think the next $150 probably happens pretty quickly to the upside or the downside. And there's just such little liquidity on the books. I think just like last time, and we talked about it like right before it happened, the longer this happens, the more I think the next move is going to be bearish. Like, you got to get going eventually. How many times can you bang up against the top of the range? Gravity is always heavier, right? You need inertia. And if we don't really, I think it'll be the same thing. Another flush down to 1100 or 1150, something like that. And then it's bought back up. We get back into the $1,200 range and we're stuck there again. But we don't know which way that is. And if you're playing alts and ETH falls to 1100, they're going to fall 15, 20%. So, we have to see. I just think that alts behaving, and the charts too, like if you look at them, they're all flagging out, consolidating, bull pennants, just volume dies on the pullbacks. It goes up on the trends up. Alts look good, man.
Well, your Phantom was a decent little call there too.
So it was funny because I sold it and then it pulled back to 23.5 and I hopped back in and it's up another like 5 or 6% since then. But I do think my favorite, and forget Phantom, we talked about Mask on the show last week. I kept saying that was the coin that was probably most interesting to me. It was $2.70. Well, it got up to $4.38 over the weekend. It's pulled back now to about $4, $3.95 or something like that. But Mask, and we're gonna do a dive into it and do like a segment on it. But it essentially helps you take your Web 2 profile on social media like Twitter, for example, and Web 3ify it. That sounds a lot like a service Elon Musk would use for Twitter, which is why it kind of goes up in sympathy with the Doge idea. And Doge, again, had another one of those weekends where I didn't see it, I didn't hear it. Some people tagged me, but it seems that Elon hinted again that crypto payments are going to be, something like that. And of course, Doge popped up to 11 cents and then pulled back again. A lot of these news pumps get so, because again, guys, we kind of know what Elon wants. This is a known thing here, okay? If you try to remove headlines from it and just look at how Doge is behaved, it's behaving very nice, technically. Who knows when it starts, but it seems like the next major leg would be up based on how the chart is consolidating, as long as all of crypto doesn't collapse. That's, that's obviously your caveat here. But
well, again, like, I mean, I guess it could. We're not immune to macro situations or other things happening, but like, fuck, how much worse could it get, really? Right? Like,
if we talk
the FTX thing just didn't do what I would have told you it would have done.
And we talk about risk and we say, where is the risk? And right now, I just think the risk is kind of for the bears, because if you think about what news could come out, something like FTX US, say, even if they can't do it immediately, saying that they're going to return customers' money, they're solvent, something like that. Those type of news events, especially going into bullish seasonality like we are, I just think news events seem to be short-lived. You get these little pops and they fade back. I think the reason we are not collapsing here is because the dollar, and the dollar has been so strong and rates have been so weak. You could argue, had the dollar remained strong and rates remained strong, we'd be at new lows already. ETH would be under 1,000. So we could say, why haven't you popped? Well, bears could look at us and say, the only reason you're not at 800 is because the dollar and rates have, done what they have. So.
For sure. Well, I hope everybody had a good weekend out there. Did you get up to anything? We're doing Christmas stuff now, right? Family time?
Well, we've watched a lot of Christmas, and we've decorated the Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Nice.
Which has one ornament on it, because on the show he only had one ornament.
Yeah, and it's like hanging. It's like bending the tree over.
Yeah. But yeah. we talked, Leilani and I, about getting the tree. We just wanted to do a little cleaning. You know how you always want to do that, I guess for lack of a better term, spring cleaning before you decorate for the holidays type of thing.
Yeah.
So we did that.
I don't know that I would call it spring cleaning in the beginning of December, but yeah, I got you.
Right, you get the. So now we get to move on to the pioneer parts of Christmas cheer, because the smell, man, when you get that tree and you got to water it so it stays alive and emanates that beautiful terpene that we know as alpha-pinene, which is the smell responsible for conifers, that is the pine smell. Boy, is there anything more Christmassy than that? I don't know. I don't think there is.
Wait, do you do real trees?
I hope you are taking the piss right now. As a Canadian, one of the lands of the...
No, I'm not allowed to have a real tree.
I am very confused as to what regime Canada lives. Is this
No, it's not like a governmental thing. I live in a high rise and there are fire hazards. I'm not allowed to have a real tree.
A fire hazard. My God.
I'm not allowed to have a barbecue either.
I mean, that makes more sense. You're not roasting the tree.
Okay, I get it. I get what you're saying, but honestly, like, knowing some of the people that live in this building, I'm not too upset that they prevent people from having fire hazards in here. Well, we were about to go live for a show when my building went up in flames.
I think we need to do a documentary on Canada. Like, you guys just sneak by looking like America, like, oh, no, we're all the same. There's weird shit going on up there.
Are you saying that, like, in a high rise in New York City, real trees are fine?
Are you hearing this, Lay? Oh,
I don't know. I'm legitimately asking.
Yes. Real trees are encouraged. There are real tree stands on almost every corner in New York.
What?
I don't know anyone in New York that would show their face if they used
Shut up.
Tree. I've literally never seen a fake tree used in New York, except in the lobbies of buildings. The
I
lobbies.
thought we were trying to cut down less trees.
These trees are planted
Yeah.
the sole purpose of becoming Christmas trees. They are fulfilling what they were
Their
created
destiny.
to do. They would have never existed. They could have never breathed the carbon dioxide rich air of Earth had we not thought of Christmas. You're welcome, tree. Okay, now complete your life cycle.
This is the content that people
put
tune
on your
in for.
lights and dance for me, tree. All right. This,
the enslaving of trees.
stocks. They go up, they go down. Why?
Yeah.
No, we don't know.
Do you decorate your tree with only green lights?
What sense does that make?
The green candles.
Lights?
Green oh,
I'm
come
telling
on.
you, we need a documentary on Canada. It is, you know what it is? It's like the Twilight Zone. There's like, oh, you only use green lights, right? What are you talking about? Green light? You use
green candles, man.
Lights?
Green candles. Green
you
candles.
use white lights or color or the colored string,
Okay.
the rainbow.
I know. All right. I'm done with this conversation. I'm not even getting a Christmas tree this year because of you. Christmas is canceled. The Grinch of New York City over here.
The Grinch. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hi. I guess since we didn't do a show on Friday, we would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about SPF's apology tour that he gets to go on now. Oops, my bad, misplaced $10 billion, but I donated money to pretty much anyone, and I guess that grants him immunity. I'm assuming that this Netflix documentary or whoever actually picked up the story to this is just going to be called "How to Steal $10 Billion," but it's been. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. I meant to turn the music off, not the article. I think it's been really frustrating for people to watch. We kind of hypothesized what he would be talking about during this like New York Times book deal interview. He was on Good Morning America or something as well. And then, of course, he did like a 2.5 hour spaces with our dear friend Mario Knopfel, which we will kind of talk about all in succession. But we were hypothesizing that there'd be some kind of revelations coming out of this, something that would shed some light, shed some clarity into what happened. It really has just been an opportunity for him to try and change the narrative into this like happy-go-lucky, well, not happy-go-lucky, but like, you know, there's this guy who just, you know, rose to meteoric heights too big too quickly and lost track of the vision and just really mismanaged it. It was all just mismanaged, and everybody that was under him was doing things that he didn't realize, and you know, really sorry, should have paid more attention, but I was just so busy. I like, are we done? Are we done with this? Like, is this just, you know, it's starting to feel like he's just going to get off. I don't know.
Yeah, I have said from the beginning he will serve no jail time. This I think, I guess if people want to call it an apology tour, the interviews that he has been doing.
What would you call it? I mean, you're on, you know, with the New York Times and the biggest interview of the year. Basically, everybody's waiting with bated breath, and there was no fire to his feet.
I mean, I don't know. I actually am of the view that the mainstream media has covered this better than crypto Twitter. I think crypto Twitter is acting like scorn lovers, and it kind of shades things a bit. But all of that aside, I don't even care about that debate anymore. I'm just trying to think if there was anything of substance that came out of any of these, and I don't think so. Not really. He is speaking fast and like he is drug-addled and incoherent.
Yeah.
And like,
and there's all these like weird reaction clips of being like, you know, what do you say to the people that say you stole $10 billion? That he has this like maniacal look on his face, like, yep, did it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, but it's all over the place. You're right.
He's just being very weird and circular in the way that he talks, and it's just very hard to follow. So like I listened to all of it. I tried to suss out at least anything I thought was relevant. And the only thing was he reiterated something he had said before, that he believes FTX US is solvent. Um, he keeps using language like I believe and da 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 da.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
think
not sure. I think
no, he said he says as to the best of my knowledge, as in it's not like he went and checked the books before all of this went down and made sure the money was there, but he didn't move it, and as far as he knew, it was there, unless somebody, if you say I 100% know it's there, and some employee saw everything going down, decided to go rogue and stole it, now you really look like an now everyone's gonna so whatever. I just think that there's a 99.9% chance the FTX US money is there. That's a good thing to me. I don't know the timetable on like when something like that would eventually be returned, whether they could either reverse bankruptcy proceedings, which would mean it could be returned immediately, or if they go through bankruptcy proceedings, the problem is I think a third party has to redistribute it at that point. I don't think FTX itself can. So that, that's the other thing, because if FTX US, if let's say Sam was smart enough to keep FTX US completely squeaky clean, like it never involved itself in anything that could even remotely be construed as illegal on US soil, because come on, he's not an idiot. He understands that FTX US is under US jurisdictions versus these other entities. So if he kept that squeaky clean, again, I think there's a 99.9% chance that money gets returned on a certain timetable. If it doesn't have to go into bankruptcy proceedings, that happens quicker. The other thing is he agreed to go on up only tentatively. Now
he did.
Now, yeah. So,
see, this is where I was getting frustrated, because it seems like he was like very diligently picking the people that he was being interviewed by, knowing that they were either going to be relatively soft on him or not not knowledgeable enough about what they're talking about to really force anything out of him. So that would be an interesting one, because I mean, we know that the up only people are very smart. Same with like if Bankless was to interview him,
yeah, and I'll put it to you this way. I believe that there's more of a chance FTX US is completely solvent than Sam goes on up only. Like he said on this show, I think those guys have been contacting me in my DMs.
Everybody has.
Yeah. Like, let me,
I tried to get SBF on this show.
Right. He said it in a way that, again, gives me more confidence that FTX US is solvent than he's going to go on up only. But I am not trying to involve myself in the media is trying to protect her. First of all, Sam Bankman-Fried, remove all the personality traits you would like to assign to him, is a human being, and he's going to try to defend himself and his freedom any way he can. So
yeah,
people want to talk about an apology. What the fuck would you like him to do? Just throw himself out there and just be like, give me the maximum penalty. I did everything. It was all premeditated. Like, come the fuck on. It's not.
No, of course not. Okay. But I mean, again, like what you're seeing right now is the result of him front running this fraud with massive donations. He has donated to both political parties, one very publicly and one very silently. Obviously,
well,
we have the DMs of him saying, this is the game you play. He's acknowledged the fact that this was all.
I see. So here's the premise.
He has given money to many media outlets as well, including the New York Times. And when it comes down to it, like, is it, to me, okay, look, SBF has spent the majority of the last 2 or 3 years telling everybody he's the smartest person in the room. This was his personality trait, right? I'm the smartest. I know everything. I'm the best trader on the planet. I've risen this exchange to meteoric heights, and I'm going to be the king of crypto. That was his whole shtick. He wasn't even humble about it. And now he's walking around being like, I didn't understand the risks. There was some accounting errors. We mislabeled. No, if this guy was as smart as he has gone on for the last 2 years to portray himself, he knew everything that was going on. I can guarantee that. This wasn't a fake it till you make it kind of thing. And I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to say that everything that he did was knowingly fraud, but I can guarantee some of it was. And now this change in the, I'm just some humble kid and I didn't realize, like, was this a humbling experience for him? I hope so, but not to this level. All I see in him again is like drug fueled arrogance pretending to be sorry. That's all I see. And I'm not trying to be the hard hitting thing. We're never going to get SBF on this show, right? Like it's not like I'm the one that's going
I wouldn't
to
be able to ask him any hard hitting questions. I don't understand. I'm a trader and I don't understand what happened here. I also don't care. So I'm sure if I looked into it, I could figure it out more.
But do you not know do you understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It's just this obvious shift. And again, I agree with you. I'd never expected him to come out and be like, "Yep, I did it, and I'm sitting on my moon base right now. Come get me, bitches." Like, I didn't think that he was all of a sudden going to turn into the supervillain in his lair and laugh maniacally at the camera, saying, "I got you all." But I mean, his lawyers are telling him to be silent. Like most people, when this all goes down, is just silent because they have to be. And I think it's this arrogance of like, I can talk my way out of anything that we're seeing right now. This guy has been in a room for the past 2 years with people who would never say no to him. He has absolutely defrauded investors. He's stolen funds from his customers, and every step of the way he's got away with it. And I think now he just feels like he can just talk his way out of anything. Maybe FTX US is solvent. I hope it is. You make a compelling case as to why, because he is a smart person and it was a US exchange. But I don't like the apology to her. I think that it's pure ego. It's pure ego. And it is an apology to her. You're up. No?
I forgot how we got here. How is this?
No, you just said to call it an apology to her is not an apology to her. Like, what did you expect him to say? And like the answer would be nothing to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's just go ahead.
I don't know. I think there's something we don't know. Anyway. Oh, now I remember. Okay, here is my new. I gotta have a new conspiracy theory every week, at least, if not every show. Now, everyone loves to speculate that given how well connected he is, and understand that the company does the majority of their recruiting at MIT, Harvard, Ivy League schools. And by the company, I mean the company that has no name, the company. Okay. That company could very easily have recruited somebody like SBF and had him do this. And as a lot of people believe, he is a plant, a Fed, some sort of,
this one is. I'm okay.
Now,
yeah. Go.
Here is my new speculation. He was recruited in college. This entire buildup all along has been backed by black money within the government, specifically to cause the rise of this young gentleman, make him look as one of us, and then use him as a way to get their fingers into it. Now, unlike everybody else, I do not believe the plan was for him to commit fraud So the whole thing collapsed and made crypto look bad and sent us to zero. Because, guys,
You think he went rogue?
listen,
This is
yeah,
a sleeper agent that like went off the
listen.
wire.
Why? Well, but listen, okay.
All right.
Why would he go rogue? Because he started to have a crisis of conscience, okay? He started to love the very nerds he had set out to set up. He became one of us. Hodl, baby. Sell me all your soul at $3 and fuck off, okay? He was one of us. And he just said, there's no way for me to get out of this. There is no way except this. And if I do it this way, I will have the protection of the media because I will be the largest story in the world. They cannot touch me. It is the only way for me to get out of this contract. And I feel like me saying this out loud has now made me a target, and I am going to shut up and not say the rest of this theory.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I get that you're what?
Okay. I think it's just as plausible as anything. Throw it on the heap. Name any, it's just as why not?
Well, I don't know. I'm fairly sure you're being somewhat tongue in cheek with that. But, no, I mean the conspiracy theory that he is a plant has been going around, and I mean I just can't get myself there. Why do we discount so much the advantages of being from a wealthy, upper class, well-connected family gets you? Like, I don't think that necessarily means that it was an inside job from the beginning, but I mean, you definitely, have a huge head start when you have access to all of these private schools, prestigious colleges, family that is well connected, gets you in front of the right people. Like, it does open doors for you. Let's just call it what it is. It's not unreasonable for him to have gotten where he was, and then the route that it went. I don't think that there was some back room, a bunch of high powered politicians drinking scotch and smoking cigars being like, how can we get these dastardly crypto kids, like, send in SBF, like, it's time, activate them. Like, I'm just not getting there. I can't get there. And honestly, like, the market was just, they could have done this years and years ago and done way more damage than they did now. Right? Like, that's, I guess, my point.
Well, that's why this wasn't their plan.
Right.
Their plan was to have their fingers in the, and think about it. They owned crypto Twitter. FTX was the darling of crypto Twitter. Everyone had a reference link. They sponsored everybody's favorite shows. He was the cool guy, the oddest with the mostest. He was everything. It was like this was the Messiah, the second coming.
Right. And they had Major League Baseball in their pockets too.
Right.
The umpires were on their side.
They literally nailed it. If that was their goal, they executed perfectly. The only thing they did not assume is that the man that all of you are spending your days demonizing, wishing bad things upon, saying awful things to, may very well have gone rogue and saved our entire industry by taking down the CIA's backdoor to crypto.
Oh man, I can't wait for that movie. That Michael Lewis, he was, I mean, talk about just an incredible career, right? To actually be following around and documenting SBF, and then all of this goes down. It's not like he started doing it after.
Well, but it's why I think it's so dumb when the public tries to become criminal investigators or detectives. Like, no matter what you see publicly, you don't even have access to 10% of what investigators get when they're looking into this stuff. Okay. You have no clue what happened here. What I said was satire and entertainment. It was just a stupid theory that I came up with over the weekend. It is fun, but the exercise is, how is it not plausible as anything else? You could, like, You never know with these things. We don't know. I have not said don't prosecute him if fraud is found. I have never thought that or said that or stood by this position. I have said everyone should shut up until we understand what's happening here. And the only way you, as a public person, have an eye into what's happening behind the curtain, whether you want to call it government, New World Order, Illuminati, whatever you want to say, the only way you can look into that magic crystal ball is markets, okay? The stock market will tell you anything that is happening anywhere in the world before it hits your news. You will see it reflected in the stock market if it is of any importance, okay? And this is the same thing in crypto. You will see things reflected in the price long before the headlines or the articles ever come out. So all we can do as the public is look at the price of these things and say, well, whatever's happening behind the curtain is either this bad, this good, or somewhere in the middle. And I think anything else it's drama, it's soap opera, it's entertainment, and it doesn't do anybody any services because nobody knows what happened here. No one knows what goes on. Everyone is out here speculating.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all we do. That's just like literally just
that's
crypto.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. We're trying to teach our listeners another way in which you break through because you can be that person that sees the future, okay? You can understand based on depth of market and flow whether COVID was going to become a national global disaster and pandemic of multi-year proportions, or if it was going to be another Ebola scare where the market went down for a month and then, everything was back to normal. You could see that type of stuff reflected in flow. All right. So there are ways to see into these things. Go ahead. That's all.
No, I was going to say there was an interesting discussion on the All In podcast about this that just aired on the weekend. And it was like, where do you find blame most in all of this happening, or like where do you assign blame to it? Was there just a pure lack of diligence from venture capitalist funds who should have access to the inside books, but we're just throwing money at this blindly? And should there be any responsibility in that process? And then, how much does media play a factor into this too? Because, investigative journalism it's not that they have a responsibility to investigate anything and everything, but investigative journalism has broken a lot of really, really massive stories and, been the first domino that falls. But again, he was so insulated from it with all of his donations and whatnot that nobody thought at any point was like, where did this guy come from? I mean, you said it yourself, and you're not an investigative journalist, but you said it yourself back in March when we were talking about this. Like, who the fuck, where did FTX come from? Where was this? Like, no journalist, nobody ever thought to just be like, I wonder how this happened. And that's fine. I'm not saying that they should have or that there is that responsibility. It was an interesting discussion, though.
Well, right? He paid off all the people in crypto that would have asked that, and journalists don't dig into crypto shit. I mean, look at the articles they write about our industry. They're very first level.
They do investigate and look into big companies. I mean, Theranos was one that was brought up that was broken by a journalist, right?
Right. I mean, I don't think there was any evidence of fraud until the summer. So yeah. I don't know how much time.
Yeah, no.
Oh, don't you remember? There's some guy, the biographer. He's been following around SBF. You want to talk?
Michael Lewis.
Really get some insight, because think about how you're writing a book. And maybe all these things stood out to you and you were just like, okay, whatever. Now this breaks and you go back and go, wait a minute. He did this, and this. holy shit, I remember he did this. Look in this
Well, that's what
report.
I say. It's Michael
Yeah,
Lewis.
yeah,
He wrote
yeah.
The Big Short. He's gonna have
This is
and he's a good writer and storyteller and create it's
yeah.
gonna be good.
Well, like I said, remember, I think the week it was breaking, within 2 days or 3 days, he was getting emails from
Yeah.
Hollywood like, "We'll pay you anything. We don't even care
Yeah,
if you've written a
anything.
word yet. You're
$10 billion.
He's like, yeah, that'd be perfect." And then
Yeah.
in a twist, he returns it all to FTX customers around the world.
Hey, Michael Lewis makes everyone solve it. Love it. Perfect. Oh
Bitcoin
man.
to 69K. Let's go.
Do we care about the Twitter Spaces, the Mario Knopfel space, or are we done with this conversation?
Well, I again, to me, what everybody said, to your surprise or not, was true. It was a moronic space about,
It was terrible.
right. And
not to my surprise.
And when I brought up the two
I hope
things
Illuminati's here. We're gonna get him real fired up.
well, that's all I took from it. The two things I said were that I think, based on, again, he talks erratically, but I've played a lot of cards and I'm just trying to read through whatever. And I think somehow FTX US is solvent, and there may be a chance he goes up only. Beyond that, there was nothing to me revealed in any of these interviews that was coherent or made any sense to me as to why or how this fraud. I'll tell you my very, very 30,000 foot bird's eye view of what went on. He wanted to invest in a lot of VC startups, in my mind, because that's probably where he saw the greatest returns. Like when you think about the VCs that put $1 million into Facebook, and you think about that type of stuff. It wasn't some one large theft, he took it and he invested in a million little startups or whatever, right? Like thousands of, as far as I can tell, that's what he did with the money. He took customers' funds to invest in startup companies, likely mostly within crypto.
But many of them were hit. What's that?
I said simple as that. Like,
yeah.
That's
there was the $1 billion personal loan. There was the $120 million in Bahamanian property that was purchased by his parents. And I know that you probably make an all right salary as a Stanford professor.
Well, we've accounted for $2 billion from his, what you could attribute to the lavish lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. We've attributed $2 billion to that. That leaves a pretty large hole as to where the money went. And FTX was probably making enough money to easily pay that $2 billion back over time. I think it's the $8 billion that everyone is worried about. Could he have dumped $8 billion into VC? Well, it probably wasn't $8 billion. Probably a few billion of it, and the rest was wiped out on paper because it was, denominated in whatever. I guess I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's my. That's right. But again, bird's eye view, he seems to have wanted to invest a bunch of money in startups, and then CZ caused a bank run and the money wasn't there when the people needed it. And that was it.
Yeah. Who the fuck is Mario Knopfel? Well, he's he's a marketer. I'll say that. I don't know. 2 million people he had on his spaces with Elon yesterday too. Jesus. Or the other day.
2 million?
2 million people tuned into that space, yeah.
Oh, I think a lot of
that's not even his number. That's like the Twitter.
No, I know. I think a lot also tuned in because the one Elon went on was a while ago, right? Like,
no, he was on it again.
Oh, he went again, Elon?
And he actually scheduled him. Yeah, I know. This is the frustrating thing. I'm like, God, fuck, man. You want to talk about people not looking into other people?
You know what it is, though? Like, crypto is a poor man's game. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's like,
yeah, I got you.
People like Elon Musk don't give a shit about number go up or down. Like, there's not enough money in crypto for it to be relevant. He has a company worth as much as crypto. Like, that, simple as that. Like, crypto is insignificant to somebody of Elon Musk's size and stature. I don't think he cares to surround himself in like really knowledgeable crypto people. I think he looks at it from a very high philosophical view that it's good for the people, so he will support it philosophically. He's not digging into the fucking intricacies of the crypto world, knows who is who or what matters. He doesn't know who Gainsey is or who Kobe is.
Well, you would think that he would have people that do that, though, right? Like, wouldn't you, as like a billionaire, just have somebody be like, before I agree? I guess Elon doesn't.
I really think you would need to be deep in crypto to distinguish a Mario Nawful from anybody. Like, it's a nuance.
But not even Mario Nawful, the crypto personality. Like Mario Nawful, the person who has not the greatest past.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't really. Whatever. It is what it is. Apple. Let's talk about Apple. Let's move on. Let's move on to Apple. Coinbase and Apple getting into
in the world.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'm on an Apple product right now.
This was a weird kind of thing that happened. Apple wants Coinbase to disable NFT transfers on the Coinbase wallet app because they want 30%, which is their standard rate on app transactions. If you earn over $1 million a year, they charge you 30% tax on it. They want 30% of the gas fees used to transfer the NFTs. Now, is this just a gross negligence in misunderstanding what those transfer fees are? Or
on Coinbase's part, yeah. I mean, I think Apple should get 50. I mean, it's Apple. Yeah. All right, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I know. Yes, go ahead.
Or are they? I know. Are they? Or is this a posturing? Are they pissing off Coinbase for a reason? You know what I mean? Like, we have often speculated that it's only a matter of time that Apple gets into the crypto game in a big way. Is this just them kind of poking and prodding the bear?
No,
I don't know the answer to that.
I'll be honest. I think this is the same thing as Elon. I think that crypto is so small and insignificant to the Apple pie right now that there is much more. What did we used to say about celebrities coming on BitClout? Asymmetric risk to them getting near it right now, right? Why would you jeopardize their $400 billion yearly cash flow business for anything? So I genuinely don't even think the executive board, okay, like the people at Apple who matter, who make large overarching decisions for company policy, I don't even think they looked at this. Like, maybe now because it made news, like somebody got wind of it. And I think if they got wind of it, they were basically like, whatever. Who even cares?
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Like, there was probably Wiper is saying there's 0% chance that Apple doesn't understand the nature of gas fees, to which I would agree. And the team of people that work on like crypto and NFT app integration and compliance and all of that probably said, look, like, we can't tax the gas fees. It doesn't work like that. And the executive probably said, don't care, do it anyways, knowing what the result would be. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is posturing or just like,
I think every day, Tim Cook, who is the CEO, but was also made CEO because he's a master of operations, probably sits down and looks at how much they spend to keep the word Apple in the news on a daily basis. And anytime they think they can save money on that daily burn, they're like, okay, let's save money by just not even giving a shit about this and letting this run our Apple name in the headlines for 2 days. Why should we spend money on advertising when these numbnuts who have lost 80% of their value this year will do it for us? Please.
Same with the Elon thing, right?
Yes.
Elon, Twitter, Twitter Blue.
Yes. Yep. And again, I think eventually all these companies acquiesce to what we understand is best practices and best for customers in crypto, blockchain, however it's presented in the future or whatever. Until then, we're going to see bullshit like this. I think Apple is I think it's very obvious, probably like you say, White Burr, even to smart people within Apple who understand how these things work. I think it's quite obvious this is wrong on Apple's part, and eventually they will have to change this policy. Now, right now, I just think they think there's no hurry here. Why? Who cares?
It is a very I find it to be a very monopolistic tactic by Apple, knowing that they can charge 30% on all of the transactions simply because they own the distribution. But yeah, I agree with you in the fact that I believe that they know that won't last forever.
Yeah.
Right. And hey, it's a publicly traded company. They have, if Apple tomorrow announced that they were reducing that fee to 10%, would their stock price not just fucking plummet? Is the App Store is really what propelled them into?
Yeah, but it's not. It is not.
Right?
It's not a significant portion of revenue at this
point. It's got to be.
No,
hardware is bigger than taking a 30% transaction of everything that happens.
Because most companies have workaround, like Netflix. Like most people.
I actually got to look this up.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I
go look at their line items. Apple is a hardware company. Services have always been just that. Now, the story, quote unquote, and again, I disagree with this story, but the story on Wall Street has been how fast services have been growing. And again, Apple looks at things like Apple TV, and I'm talking about the TV show and movie service, not the little box that they sell. Apple Music, all of the services, whether it's iCloud or other things that they sell you, those have always been value adds to keep you in the ecosystem, renewing that hardware every few years. Their margin is made on hardware, and it's the largest part of their business. Services is becoming large, but it's almost a factor of it's icing on the cake. It is not the cake. And sure, in a 1 week, 2 month, 2 quarter sense, the stock would react negatively to it. As far as hurting Apple's long-term business, it's insignificant enough at this point that they should move on.
Interesting
policy.
I think I have the answer here. $85 billion in App Store revenue, of which they would, I guess, be a 30% cut. I don't know if that's like total App Store revenue or what they took out of it. I think that's total App Store revenue. And then their total revenue was 380 billion in 2021. So yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's not insignificant though.
No, the stock, but Apple, if you look at where, because people just lump services into one category because that is how Apple reports it. But if you look at where services have been, the reason people have said services are the future is not because that 30% on App Store purchases has been going up. It's because all of the other services that people voluntarily pay for, like Apple TV, Apple Music, and iCloud, those are the things that have been propelling Apple services forward. So,
yeah, interesting. Well, it's one of those things that everyone thinks that Amazon is a gigantic, goods distributor, and this is how they make all of their money, right? But it's actually AWS, which is their biggest. So I was just kind of almost thinking like, Apple sits on top of all of these transactions. It's got to be absolutely massive, and it is. But yeah, you're right. Fine, I stand corrected.
Yeah, but again, bottom line here is Apple is wrong, and they'll check. But okay, I'll give you the rosiest picture here.
Do you think Apple knows they're wrong and they don't care either because they can right now?
That was our bottom line. But what if we flip it around and we say the moment Apple saw this, they cared a lot and they care about and they love us and they want us to be. It probably takes at least a little bit of time to rewrite policy, figure out whether anybody else could exploit that. Remember, you make a sweeping policy change. It's not just about who it benefits. It's who can now exploit this because we're changing this. There's probably a few weeks, if not a few months of work that would go into Apple changing this policy. So you could view it as maybe they do care, but it's not like tomorrow they were going to be like, oh, we're making an exception for you or our policy has changed. Give them a little time here. They're either going to admit they're wrong or tell you they were working on a solution the whole time, that they knew and they were working on a solution behind us.
Yeah.
So,
it was interesting that they kind of like specifically went after Coinbase, though.
Well,
like, it was like all of a sudden, like, no, we want this.
I made a poll that said, and this was like the day after the SBF interview and right when the Apple news broke, I said, who has hurt crypto more in the last 24 hours, SBF or Apple? And out of, I think it was 31 votes, 56% said SBF and the rest said Apple. So SBF still ahead in the count.
Well, again, you know what? I've said this before, and I think the point still stands. I'm actually pretty satisfied overall with the acknowledgement from regular everyday people that this was a bad actor and not the result of crypto. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't bad Bitcoin or, shame on Ethereum for allowing this to happen. Like, the narrative has been right, I think. CloneX egg drop went down. That was we talked about that slightly. It was just going down as the show was ending.
Good-looking egg. It's a good-looking egg.
It's a nice looking egg. I don't know. I got mine.
Eggs were hot for a minute there. We were comparing project eggs. We actually, I think the one we were most unimpressed with was the Cool Pet egg, where we said, look at all these other eggs.
Yeah. We need an egg power ranking.
This one's up there. I love it.
Pixel Pets was really good too. What came out of them was not. You remember Pixel Pets?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I think we were comparing Pixel Pets and
Cool Pets. Yep.
And then there was another couple eggs too from smaller projects. I hope this is what Valhalla's art looks. I hope it's a rug on the art they were showing us, and it turns out to be slick artifact like 3D. This is what numbnuts and normies think NFTs are.
You've used the term numbnuts a lot today.
It's one of those, stocks are down.
What movie did you watch?
Coins are down. I'm getting trolled on Twitter because I expected things to go up. I'm gonna say numbnuts a few times.
It's a numbnut kind of week, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, regardless, as you would expect when an airdrop goes down, the price of it did come out of CloneX, probably a little bit more. We were, I think, at 9.5, 9.8 ETH just before, like the day or two before the egg drop. The floor got bricked hard once the claim happened. Again, that does happen, but we went down to almost 7 ETH. The eggs, I think at their peak, I believe I saw them 1.3 trading very briefly, but they've really kind of held steady around the 1 ETH floor. Not really even like swing tradable. They've only been kind of up or down 10%, but 1600 ETH volume on that. And now CloneX a little bit at a discount, but I haven't done anything with my egg yet. I'm kind of curious as to what comes out of said egg, and it's CloneX. I always intended to be a long hold. I did have it listed. It did get to be literally the floor, and then I didn't feel good about that. It's something doesn't feel good about being the floor when you're not in volume. So I did delist it, but yeah, I guess I was a little bit disappointed that this was all going down during Art Basel, and there wasn't some kind of fanfare surrounding it. But
yeah, I'm sure Art Basel was fun for the people who were there, but it wasn't one of those newsworthy ones. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I was joking that there were no fruit nailed to walls this weekend, but really all I meant by that was You didn't get any of those stories that like where the whole world was talking about Art Basel. It's just like another elitist, party that people enjoyed, and that's cool. The
It looked like it
NFT
was.
parties looked stupid. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. Was there much NFT action going down there?
There
But I
was
mean,
Doodles.
yeah, yeah,
I saw Doodles, Goblin Town, and
yeah.
Apes all had parties, but again, it's like literal. They remind me of the parties you went to in your 20s or in high. It's like whatever. I support them and think that these projects should be doing them. I don't think that anything that happened was newsworthy, and it seems to me that Doodles again at least won the popular opinion as best party. We know that at South by Southwest, they impressed with their party and a lot of the technology that they worked into the displays and stuff. And
Hmm.
also, they have now impressed with a party in Miami based around mini golf, which incorporated technology as well. And again, you know, they didn't do anything at this party that in a person's mind would translate to a floor price pump. But again, you do fun things that makes you the talked about project, and it keeps you in the game. These are the things you have to. Same thing with Goblin Town. Same thing with Apes and shit. I'm only making fun of these like when people think like anything like this is not utility. It just isn't. This is marketing that it's nice that you're good enough to be a part. Because if it was an empty party, it would suck. But you're part of their marketing. This isn't utility. Utility was a very overused term during the bull. These things are not utility. They are very, very good, necessary marketing events that I support. And it seems that Doodles, at least from what I was, glancing at, won the weekend. I didn't see anything mainstreamy come out from the non-crypto NFT side of Art Basel this year. So.
Yeah, I definitely nothing caught my eye that was like really exciting out of it. But again, I don't know what we were really expecting, especially in this market. I think I think the biggest thing is right now is like who are you marketing to, right? Like even if you just take our own little ecosystem of cryptocurrency, right? We all know where the attention is right now. Love it or hate it, it is really just on SBF at the moment. Still, I think there's still like a big hangover that's kind of happening from that too, like a content hangover, right? The first 2 weeks of that was just everybody just screaming into Twitter, reading, reacting, watching, listening. And then we got another little swell of it as he started to make some, public appearances this week. And honestly, I think people are just like not even tired of it, but just tired in general. Like there is a content burn that does happen in marketing right now. I think other than having these parties and these gatherings, get-togethers, and showing things off, and just general kind of networking things, I think you're right. It's not the utility. It's just doing doing what those bigger brands need to do to just keep some attention on them. But like if this Clonex egg, this Animus egg had launched in January of this year, I mean, it would have been massive, right? Like it would have been all that, people were talking about. Would you agree with that?
Yes, but these
Right? Like,
guys,
and that's the thing, right? It's like, so what are you
they're
doing right
not
now? You're just working, you're just building, you're just,
they're not marketing to us or to NFT buyers or to the speculative market.
right.
Okay? Think about what these parties are. Okay. When you're at Art Basel and you're not a crypto person, you're not an NFT person, the NFT party is like this. Ooh, there's an NFT party. Like that's a weird thing in art that's controversial.
Yeah.
People in art love edgy and controversy. And NFT party is still unique. Okay. That's still different. So when you are a brand as big as Doodles or Apes, you need to go to these things because you're not marketing to us so that we go buy and support your blue chip floor price. They are marketing to the elites and the socialite class and the influencers who go to Art Basel. And how many how many, like, and I don't know, but how many influencers got to go to that Doodles party and go through the golf course, like a mini golf course at Art Basel? Oh, it's so Instagrammable. It's you could put it on TikTok and Reels, right? Like that. They need to be doing it. I applaud them for doing these things. So I think that that these blue chip projects always have to show face at these type of, I don't know what the next one is, but festivals and events of this caliber where influencers show up, it's the way. It's definitely the way.
I also think that there's a little bit of you get the outside people going, oh, I thought NFTs were dead. You know what I mean? And it does spark up a little bit of curiosity and whatnot. Like that's how NFTs happened for me. Like I was aware of them in 2018 with CryptoKitties and people talking about them. And then, when I started to kind of refine my interest in crypto and going down that rabbit hole again, NFTs popped up, and lo and behold, that was 3 years later, 4 years later. And I thought, if that was just a flash in the pan kind of thing, they would have been dead by now. But lo and behold, there are still people that are interested in them, people that I respect and knew from, back in those 2017, 2018 days. And then you have to go, I guess there is actually something there. And these kind of things happening, continuing the conversation, continuing the narrative, continuing a presence, when an inevitable crypto and NFT bull run starts to happen again, whether that's a year, whether it's 6 months, 2 years, whatever, people will check it out again. People that were here will check it out and they go, NFTs still around. I think that's how you end up creating like the staunch supporters of it, right?
Yeah, and I guess the other viral moment for the NFT world that happened at Art Basel was a punk being displayed next to an Andy Warhol. So,
ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think that I don't know exactly which gallery this was or where what party or where it was happening, but of course symbolically, if we consider the crypto punk, the preeminent NFT, the face of our niche little thing we have going on here, it's obviously an honor and heartening and all that great stuff to see it next to a Warhol. I don't think it's the same as hanging in the MoMA, but it's still very cool.
Yeah. Oh, it'll get there. There will be a punk in MoMA for sure.
Definitely. I think that's a market defining moment where this is very cool, and I like that someone did this.
In the Smithsonian, will we get one?
What? Oh, I would say that's more of a shoe-in than MoMA because the history, Smithsonian has to go for history.
Right. Yeah.
This is
did it capture a point in time?
It defines a movement, crypto.
Right.
Punks,
Okay, MoMA. What's the first NFT in MoMA?
I would, if I had to guess, it's gonna be an Art Blocks curated. Squiggles, maybe, because I think MoMA likes interactive, if you've ever been there. And I think if they were able to put a bunch of touch screens on the wall and you go up and you press the squiggle to make it move, that I think would be something MoMA would do.
Yeah, I was almost thinking like a Fidenza, but yeah, not interactive in the same way.
X copy. Ooh. That'd be interesting to do a room of X copies, and then you'd have to put a warning. Don't go in.
Yeah, photosensitive. Like, oh god, I can't imagine being in a room full of those.
Yeah, but again, if you've been to MoMA, like a lot of their stuff is interactive, performance art, weird stuff you walk through or interact with, and I could totally see a room that was like, again, only go in here if you're not sensitive, but this is the glitch room and that type of thing. Genuinely, from the bottom of my goddamn toes, believe Bastard Gone Punks will eventually have
I had a sneaking suspicion you were gonna start going there. Yeah.
Yep. If you want my dark, like something nobody would talk about except the craziest among us, I have always defined Bastards as bringing the punk movement forward, an actual evolution of the art, not just a derivation of the art, but an evolution of the art. So that, I think, is those I really could see that something that nobody expects, maybe that Begone Punks would get their own show at MoMA.
I'd definitely be okay with that.
Give us like a 3-week news cycle.
Yeah, on it. Well, I mean, I don't. I guess disclosure, but if you aren't aware, we both definitely have bags of these. Willingly, I don't even call them on a bag. I actually enjoy the process of looking through them and finding ones to buy and sift through and whatnot. It's a great discovery type collection. And yeah, I have been loading up on them when the prices are good, right? Like they're at really they're at 0.16 right now. I man, like these have a moment. These are a legacy NFT, right? Like they're an early 2021 project.
Yeah, I beg for the day when someone creates an NFT specific square screen that's like borderless, so I could just put these on the wall.
I saw like a trend going on Twitter too, where it was like it took a CryptoPunk and a Began and put it side by side and was like, which are you spending the ETH on or whatever, right?
Yeah,
it was trying to like bait people into being like, but not even saying that like one was a CryptoPunk and one was a Began, and then ha. By the way, that's not a punk.
Well, it's not your most popular angle as a collector, but there is a market for clean Begons. Those Begons that they basically look like punks with some very cool traits that would never show up in the punk collection type of thing. Like that, those have their own little niche collector's market. And again, right now, when they are not popular outside of the people who collect them, it's one thing. But you see how a collection like Apes or a collection like Clone, very wealthy people will pay for just the one they need or want because it's them, it's theirs, it's that type of thing. And boy, I always say there are not 10,000 punks, there are 23,000 punks because you have to include, or 21,000. There's 11,000 Begons.
There are 11,299 Begans.
And then there are how many V1 punks? 1,000. So there's 22,000 punks in existence.
There you go.
That eventually will be valued. They're all punks.
I don't
Only
see them
real punks.
Punk, CryptoPunk level, but yeah.
Begone will be treated as a trait of CryptoPunks, not a different collection.
55%.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, I'm saying it'll be the lower half of the rarity scale, but.
What's Valhalla doing these days? Looks like we're gonna get a token. Did you see that?
I did. I heard it from you.
Oh, that was your first exposure too?
Mm-hmm.
It was really trying to break 0.8 over the weekend. We got reveal on Wednesday, I believe, 3 p.m. Eastern.
And they announced a token and it tanked.
I don't think it tanked, but yeah.
No, the floor is really thin up to 0.8. It would just take, once you get close to reveal, those will be sopped up. And I'm sure it'll be sitting between 0.7 and 0.8 on reveal. Probably, and we'll see.
Yeah, Alex started tweeting out these letters, P-O-R. Then everyone's like, Pornhub. And then so he tweeted out N, was not N. And D, P-O-R-D, which is backwards for drop. And then Valhalla places this coin with Valhalla on it. Wonder what that could be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, in my mind, when we were kind of going down the rabbit hole of like what stacked is, what Valhalla is, I mean, I kind of just always assumed that a coin was something that was going to be part of it, right? Like, especially if they're making this platform in which there's going to be creator interactions and supporting creators and stuff like that. Like, I guess I always imagined that it would be in a coin. I curious to see what they have in store with this, because I think it would be too early for that. But I guess they also need to kind of keep the marketing narrative going. And also, I mean, they're talking about beta in Q1 of 2023, and I guess we're really not that far away. So
look at me. Look at me. I am the platform now.
I didn't know where you were going with that. Like, I'm trying to like figure out which direction I'm supposed to look. Yeah.
Those are nice coins. I hope they send some real ones out that are solid gold to some of the holders.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice.
The holder of number 6207 and 6208.
Gee, I wonder who holds those ones.
They were just the first two I saw on the floor. I didn't want to give anyone clues.
They released some weapon traits.
Very unique. Never seen a energy drink or a video game controller in anyone's hand.
Have we seen video game controllers?
Of course. It's NFTs.
What project did video? Oh, we probably have, haven't we?
Oh, come on.
Is he holding a cactus?
They're literally like, hey, it's a chainsaw. They're literally like, hey, what do nerds like?
It's the big focus group.
Yeah,
you guys are nerds. Like video game controllers,
chairs.
There's just gonna be a gamer chair
really
behind
comfy chairs. Really comfy chairs that require us not to move ever.
RGB keyboards.
We would literally die from carbohydrate crash if it wasn't for this Monster energy drink.
Oh God, do you drink energy drinks? I don't drink energy drinks.
No, I'm doing the video game.
I was just asking, like, for the sake of conversation. Like, are you an energy drink?
I drink water and coffee.
Yeah, that's pretty much my consumption too, and booze.
Mm-hmm. And milk. I drink milk with cookies.
It's a 33% split of each.
I'm training to be Santa. I know it's unlikely, but I've seen a lot of movies where eventually Santa either needs to retire or he falls off a roof, and then a dad who has always kind of enjoyed Christmas a bit is asked to be the next Santa. And I just want to be ready. So milk and cookies every day.
White Burr, you are you and I are the same person, except I don't drink. I have a splash of cream in my coffee, but you know, I think that's close enough.
So here's what I was thinking of doing. I have fallen deep into coffee Instagram, and I have seen a type of
coffee Instagram.
Yeah, coffee Instagram. You know, it's
okay.
The Instagram about coffee.
So you get your feed and your reels is very coffee heavy.
Yeah, because I didn't use it for that in the old days. It was, you know, I used to go to like cooking whatever. Got coffee info from coffee specific sites. Now there is a manual espresso press. I was very skeptical of this thing. You literally pull it down yourself. You do the pulling. There's no automatic pulling of the shot. And the espressos look so nice. And I envisioned myself. I said, I want to do a pre-show for the AM show where I make a coffee every morning. We have a camera. It's aimed on the coffee, and I make the coffee every morning, and people can watch. I get my beans freshly roasted and sent from Espresso Vivace in Seattle. They can see the whole process. Anyway,
I've just been drinking the Starbucks. Like,
well, that too.
You know what? I mean, I at this point, like, I know I can brew my own coffee at home, and it's going to be cheaper and faster and blah blah blah. But like, I actually just like going on the walk. You know, like it's a good distance for me to just kind of like get up, put pants on, have a stroll down the neighborhood.
You
It's a
just
nice neighborhood.
prefer drinking your coffee on the second half of the walk instead of the first half, because you could just make it at home, drink your coffee on the first half. It's really more of a I prefer this part of the
Yeah,
walk.
but it's objective based, right?
True.
Like there is a reason. I can't talk myself out of it. It's if I want coffee, I have to go do
We
this.
should link your coffee maker to your smartwatch so
Or
that
I can rent a second apartment and brew the coffee there. And
there you see. Now we've found max
ooh,
efficiency.
I actually liked where you were going with that. You have to have X amount of steps in before the coffee maker
Yeah.
engages.
Well,
That's the stepping we need.
no, but you got to
Fuck
understand.
tokens. Get paid in coffee.
Right now, we don't have that universal chip that turns everything smart. Like eventually, everything will be smart, and people, your watch is going to be like, hey, this would be a great place for you to gain some efficiency and burn some calories. Do this.
Oh, speaking of physical fitness, guess I ran. I went for one of my long runs this weekend, and I crushed my all-time high.
What was the record?
My record before was, I think, 9.5 miles, which was 15 kilometers.
Wow.
And I did 12 miles on the weekend. 12 miles, so just 19.5 kilometers. And then I was trying to push for 20, and I probably could have, until my knee just said, that's enough. You need to stop.
What was your average speed?
Per mile, 5:56, I think. So 6 point. It was on the treadmill. 6.4 miles an hour is what I had it set to. I watched 3 episodes of the new Star Wars show. Andor.
Is it on Paramount? Oh, Star Wars. Yeah, it starts slow. It gets really good in the middle. And then I'll let you decide the end.
2 hour run. 1 hour and 56 minutes. Or 54. I don't remember. I have it on my phone. Regardless, I was very proud of myself. And yeah, it is a good show. It does. I thought it started well, and then the next couple episodes were a bit of a slog. Are you finished it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How long has it been out for?
They just had the finale.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Season. So whatever the TV September and now, whatever the TV season is.
Yeah, I think I've been alternating between that and Breaking Bad, but I'm rewatching Breaking Bad. That's like my low effort kind of put it on the TV show right now.
There's been some okay content out.
Need to get on the treadmill and find a television program. Dude, I'm going to just tell you this. Cover up the timer on the treadmill, cover up the speed, put a show on, and just focus on the show. And you'll be amazed at how much faster time goes, right? Like time after time. It gets so mental. Like you just start talking yourself out of you're talking yourself into any reason to like get off of it, right? Like boredom.
I knew a trainer who said you shouldn't listen to music.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. I was listening to music for a while, and you know what you start to do? One more song after the song, and then you go, oh, song's over. Now I can stop. Oh.
He also believes your body engages your muscles and more if you are focusing on them, so as you're running and you feel that in your foot and your ankle and your shin and your knee, feel that sensation and be aware of it. When you're listening to music, you get distracted. He thinks it's better to be focused on what you're doing, which is the running, the breathing.
I also wondered about like a tempo thing too, right? Like, there's a very rhythmic like process of your feet hitting the ground, right? And it's in like a rhythm. And, as the music that you listen to, I guess, unless you went the effort of creating a playlist that was like a specific beats per minute, like I believe that you start to line up with that tempo in some way, shape, or form, right? But like keeping a particular cadence when you're running and like running for distance is important. And I bet music alters that.
Some people like to end with a sprint, especially if they are training for whatever. And I think having one song loaded up for the sprint right at the end when you've hit your wall and you don't think you can go anymore, put your hypiest song on, the song that you put on when your stocks are going up, you know.
Yeah.
Just
I
first.
I don't finish with a sprint on those runs. Like what I'm led to believe with the training program is that for those ones, it's like you literally want the same pace the entire time, and it's go until like you're about to fall off, like without adjusting it, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible how much more energy you use once you increase the pace that you're comfortable with.
Energy.
It's fun though.
Mm-hmm.
Dua Lipa levitating. Sprint songs are a real thing. Yeah, I do have to go for a run today. I'm gonna go for. I think I'm gonna do some interval training today. So we shall see. All right, man. Anything else you want to talk about?
I want to talk about OABI.
Oh, what?
OABI.
Okay.
OmniAb Incorporated. It's a biotechnology company. I am very, very bullish on the prospects of biotechnology. Looking out the next, I believe, unlike a lot of people, that the bull market has not ended, that this is a bear within a secular bull, and that the end of this decade is going to be largely defined by advances in biotechnology. And this is my interesting thing of the day, is that their CEO has been buying up shares like mad on the open market. This fits into my thesis here. It's a small cap biotech, which is an area I love. And the CEO is doing major buying. It is in an uptrend. A lot of people look at something, they're like, oh, it was $2. Now it's $4. I don't want to touch it. That is a confirmed uptrend. The dumb thing is to say, oh, it's $6. Now it's $4. Let me buy it here. You better know what the hell you're doing, because how do you know it's not going to $3? Buy things that are in uptrends. Stop worrying where it came from. Look at it objectively.
I thought you told me to take my DCAs off when it's in an uptrend.
Yeah, why? Oh, we're talking about trade. This is a trade. Everything that I'm talking about right now has about a 4 to 6 month window swing trade on it, and maybe sooner if the price gets to where I think it's going to go before that 4 to 6 month. I'm out. I'm gone, and we can figure out and reassess. But these are, if you were going to dollar cost average, in my opinion, you would do it into an ETF that follows biotech. These small little biotechs are either going to be bought out for 10x or go to zero. So you play these like options. I like these you use with your speculative money, right? So if you're like, oh, I put 30% in blue chips, 40% in tech, 10%, and you have 10% that you put in very speculative ideas. I really like small cap biotech, and I love it when I see the CEO buying up shares on the open market like nobody's business. Like he literally has inside information, the most inside information, and he's filing legally with the SEC and saying, no, I still need more shares. I'd like to buy on the open market. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Well, you said, as I was hawking my room to you and you hesitantly laughed nervously, you were like, tell me some stuff. Well, there you go. There's a stock.
Okay, I'm going to put my life savings into it.
All right.
$45 bought.
Right. We know that wasn't a recommendation. I was just giving you all an insight into how I'm looking at markets right now. And
OABI?
OABI. And while I am not buying a ton of long-term stuff right now because I still believe we double dip as a market next year. I think things like high beta technology, you know,
Why?
ARC.
I need to ask you this.
Yeah.
Why from October 1st to October 14th was OABI at $10 flat? Like up or down like a percent?
I don't know. I'll have to go look.
Oh, that's a pretty short. No, it's a year. Was it not a publicly traded company then?
Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring it up right now.
It's just like October 14th, and then it's just like a straight line down.
Yeah, that looks like some sort of they likely IPO'd at $10. And remember, this is a biotech company, all right? They either reported a trial went wrong. I didn't see what the exact news was, all right? This was a every few weeks they release the insider buys. Basically, it shows you executives and insiders who have been buying or selling stocks of their company. Now, this alone is not a signal, but when you remember, right now, I'm specifically on the hunt for small cap biotech because I think there is a tailwind in the entire sector, okay? So once I already have my thesis, when I get a signal like this, it's very strong to me. I'm guessing, and I have to go look now because I didn't do that much research.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm guessing that they either missed a drug report. You know, they were supposed to report a positive trial and it was a negative trial, or it was a delay, or whatever it was. If I just look at the technical story, it looks like they IPO'd recently at $11. Something happened.
I'll pull it up on the screen for you, and you can help me understand what's going on. Maybe you can see from the chart. There we go. Like, it's not like there was no volume, but there's like almost no volume. Were these like maybe just private sales? Like it wasn't public yet or something? Or it wouldn't track that then.
Yeah, I have no clue. I have to go look.
Okay, fair. I didn't know if maybe that volume would tell you a story or something. I don't really know what I'm looking at when I look at these charts. I mean, I do. Price go up, price go down, but
yeah, I'll have to look.
Report back. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Episode 172. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back on Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Do us a favor, hit the like button. We appreciate it.
And I can say with great confidence, we will be talking about Phantom Networks, which I was long last week and I sold, and I am long again. And as stock markets and crypto crashes around the world, it's not crashing, it's just down a little bit. But as they are down, Phantom is up. So we will be talking about Phantom on Wednesday.
Cool.
All right,
guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, chatting in the chat. Whitebird, especially today, talking a lot. Appreciate it. But GM, hope everyone has a great Monday. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Free market. Do the thing.
Good luck at the tables, DJ.